Base Motel Season 3, Episode 9, Crazy. Of course, leading up to the season finale, this was definitely a great episode in a couple of different aspects. One of them, I think the biggest one, of course, being Norman really reaching a very bad point. Like, and Norma's getting all this information. It's like she knows that Romero knows about the murder and stuff. She knows from Dylan, from the past couple episodes, Norma was kind of thinking that he was Norma at one point, and then by the end of this one, Caleb comes in and he's like, your son thought that he was you a while ago. I think that was like, the last year, in the last season. So she has this info and she's trying to fight against it, but it's like he's going crazy. And in the preview for the finale, he argues with Norma and she falls down the steps. He's freaking out. He's seeing Norma where she isn't, and he's like pulling the car over with Bradley in it and stuff. So he's obviously going nuts, and it's getting worse and worse. These past, I'd say 5 or 6 episodes, it's just been getting really bad for him, and that's pretty much the entire season. So things have just been really crazy for him, and I'm loving it. I can't wait to see how they play things out in the season finale, but it should be exciting. Unfortunately, with the ending and Caleb telling Norma everything that happened in the previous season, that was during a scene where Caleb decided that he was going to take off again and leave Dylan and just kind of take off. I was a little upset with him for that. I was like, man, it seemed like everything was kind of working for their family. Like, they didn't exactly end all the issues between Norma and Caleb, but they had like the whole family dinner thing, and Caleb and Dylan were, together this entire season basically, and they were working things out, and it was fine. And it's like, he had this issue with the neighbor. He found out the guy was an informant. That's what he realized. So they get into a crazy fight. He beats that guy up and knocks him out. So he's basically taken off kind of to protect Dylan, really, but it still kind of sucked. It was like, man, I came to like his character. Like, he had some things going on in the last season, but in this one, all he was trying to do is kind of redeem himself, and that's sort of what he had planned in the last one. But he had like a bunch of shady stuff going on in the last season as well, so it was like it made us trust him a lot less compared to this one, where he really was just trying to redeem himself to both Dylan and Norma, and I thought it was great. And now it's like he's taken off again, and that really sucks. And I'm hoping he is in the season finale, but odds are he'll be gone. But if he comes back for whatever reason, I think it would be cool. I like his character. I'd love to see where they take him in the next season. I think it'll be pretty interesting, and how much better things can get within the family, and how much easier it can be for Norma and Caleb to actually be around each other. So I'd like to see how that plays out. And I love the interaction they had when he first showed up. And he was like, are you okay? Because you look. And then Norma stopped and was like, don't ask and I won't. And he's like, that's, fair enough, because he, is beat up. So it was like, okay, that's fair enough. But I definitely enjoyed it. It was a great episode leading up to the finale. Norman just going insane after spending this whole day with Bradley. And she had a just real serious dose of, like, dead person's reality. Like, she goes back home. It's like her mother replaced her father. And then she goes in and they're sneaking around the house, which I thought was weird. I really thought they should have been caught. Because it's like they just went in. I know it was a big house, so I guess, it was kind of like that. But they go in and they're looking around and stuff. And then she opens up her room and it's like, that's as bad as it gets. Like, it's not like, oh, the room's empty or anything. You turn anything into an exercise room, that is the ultimate form of you don't give a crap. It's like, it's not like an awesome pool table or game room or movie room, movie room. Exercise equipment. You aren't even going to use that room. That's how bad that is. It's like, move all her stuff out, put in these 4 things I'm never going to touch. That's how disrespectful that was. And that's what they did to Bradley. And I was like, that's just kind of messed up. That's really harsh. And considering she knows her mother and the little bit that we know about her mother, it kind of makes her seem like a bad person. It could just be the fact that, like, not every parent's going to keep the room the same way like you see in some TV shows, because that could make it worse. But in this case, when it's like, she's going through the house, it's like she knows I hated that picture, so that's typical. And how she replaced her father, which I don't think we ever met both her parents anyway. I can't even remember. That was like season 1. we may have. Well, yeah, her father died. That's what. That's my bad. I completely forgot about that. That's how this show actually started. But she mentions like she replaced her father and stuff, and then she changes the house around. Like I said, exercise equipment, ultimate form of just you mean nothing. So she's just been hit with like a dose of reality. Like I'm dead and gone. No one gives a crap. And I don't know what the heck her role is going to be in the season finale and what's going to happen. Obviously, things are going to get crazy because of Norman, and they were getting hot and heavy by the end of the episode, and he's seeing Norma right there and it's messing with his head, and I love the way they do it, especially in the end of this episode when he's seeing her, and they put like just a straight up spotlight right on her, and it was just like it didn't drown everything else out, but it just put such a great focus on her, and it wasn't like a super bright light. It was just very well done, and it was like he's going crazy and he's seeing his mother, and when it's not her, it's just like this cool spotlight in the air, and I just like the way they did that, because it was like visually they can make it look however they want because she's not there, so it's like we can make her look as light as we want to, and it'll just fit because he's going crazy, and it's like this spotlight on his mother. So I like the way they did that in the end of this episode. It was definitely pretty awesome. And then he's, by the end of it, he's actually like walking arm in arm with his fake mother. It was good that Norm was actually out there to see him go crazy like that, but I'm sure someone will be there next time, and obviously people have seen him thinking he was his mother, so that they don't really need to see him talking to no one, because that's crazy enough. You think you're somebody else, I think that's a step beyond talking to someone who's not actually there. So I love the episode. It was definitely fun. I just don't know what's going to happen with Dylan and what he's going to end up having to deal with as far as their neighbor coming in and him being an informant. That could be a bit of an issue. So I don't know how this is going to take place. He could easily lie and they got nothing on him, but they could probably try to do something and say like, oh, you have this weed, even though he's trying to do it legally. They could probably try to do something if there's an issue. Like, I don't know if the neighbor's going to really have an issue with Dylan because he never really did. But now that we know he's an informant and, things kind of worked out that way, it could be a little bit different. He may have an issue, he may not, and we'll just kind of have to wait and see for the finale. But this is definitely a great episode. I can't wait to see how crazy they make Norman, and they're pushing it to an insane level. He's like seeing his mother more and more these past couple episodes. He's been seeing her like crazy, so it's reaching up to the season finale. We had a little bit with Romero. He told Norma about him turning the flash drive over to the DEA, and he met the woman who was kind of on the case and everything, and I love the interaction they had. And she's like, oh, so you got elected after your father was prosecuted and everything. And, it's just like, okay. And he's like, trying to figure things out with her. And it was just really cool. I like the way they played that. So, depending on how quickly things do go in the season finale, they could kind of take the guy out by next week. I kind of don't think they will. But at the same time, it is the season finale. And that would be a huge, huge change if Romero was able to get this case kind of moving quickly enough to where they take out, not just the guy who's threatening Norma, but, a lot of the other people who aren't already in prison, like Romero's father, whose names are on that ledger, who are directly involved in that stuff. So, depending on how quickly they do things and how much time they choose to skip over between this episode and the next, the case could end up finishing, and a lot of people might get taken down. And we'll see a really drastic change, just like we did at the beginning of this season with kind of the weed being taken out of the city. This is basically all they have left, I think. This is like the last little sliver of underground that they have in the city. And if all these people get taken down for having this ledger, things could change all over again. Like, it'll be even crazier in the next season, and even more people might be coming after Romero. So I'm not sure how it's going to play out, but I'm definitely excited for it. Initially, when the woman came in the office, the first thing I thought was she was there looking into the guy that he killed that was running for sheriff. But, that ended up not being the case. I thought they were going to kind of try to come after him that way. But I'm excited to see what they do for the season finale. It sucks that it's already the season finale, but we're only gonna have like 9 episodes. So that I do kind of hate. I feel like we should have way more than that because we're in season 3. I feel like this show could easily get more episodes and views, but I'm hoping it's the writer's decision to make this show so short, and it's not A&E saying like you guys don't have enough views, because that would kind of worry me that we wouldn't get a season 4, which I hope we do. I haven't looked any info up on it or anything like that, but I do think it's still getting a lot of views. It's obviously an insanely great show. Like every season is just crazy. Like who lived, who died. This one was really good on like a grand scale type of thing where, for once, Norman really wasn't the murderer, so he actually didn't kill anybody in this season. But there was a big murder that kind of sent that initial shockwave through, and they're still battling it out. Norman's got to deal with this giant 22-foot hole in the ground, all sorts of crazy stuff. So I'm excited for the season finale. Of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And of course, I want to know what you guys want to see in the season finale. What are some of obviously your favorite moments and least favorite moments from this episode? Specifically, what you guys think of Caleb kind of taking off again. Like I said, I was disappointed in that. I was really hoping that he would actually stick around, like he said to Dylan, like, I'm going to stay here and, at least until things blow over, and we'll, figure stuff out. But he's taken off once again. If he does end up in the season finale, it could get a little bit risky as far as him being caught by the police, because he already has a warrant, and then he, beats a guy up. If he's in the season finale, I think he might actually end up going to prison and, possibly getting killed if some crazy stuff happens, because it's, Bates Motel. You never really know too much. But I want to know what you guys think, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.